Good morning. We're just finishing our tour of Sri Lanka and it's been a terrific experience. Our original contact was with a UK company called Travel Local who had as their agent in Sri Lanka, Best of Lanka. We made a whole series of arrangements 2.5 years ago and that has now changed a little bit from there. We left some things out, but it was right and proper that we come back to the same entity to book this time. All my contacts with being through with Praveen, through Travel Local, and at the end of the day they did a terrific job. They put together a great series of visits for us. We had to leave some out which were a bit beyond our capabilities, and they basically chose and recommended lots of hotels, high quality hotels, and above all a terrific driver. Now I must confess I changed a couple of the hotels and they were bad changes. I made the mistakes. The company did a great job in getting us into the right places at the right time.
So our amazing driver was called Danny Indika, and he picked us up at the airport on day one. And from there on, he's stayed with us for the whole 8 days. He's been fantastic. He's driven us everywhere. And when we arrived, he explained really carefully how driving in Sri Lanka is crazy, and it is, but that we didn't need to be worried. He asked if we would be so happy that he darted in and out of the traffic, which is the Sri Lankan style, and of course we were. He also explained really carefully about the protests which were going on and said that might cause delays, but we were perfectly relaxed. We had a really good relationship with him and he took us wherever we wanted, to our hotels. He took us out to dinner and took us home again. He always made sure we were all right, and checked up on us if we decided to go out on our own. All in all, a great service from the company and from Danny. We even changed a few things last minute, and he was totally fine with that. We threw in a quick visit to the zoo in Colombo yesterday with about 5 minutes notice, and he accommodated that amazingly and actually really enjoyed coming to the zoo himself. He always accommodated our need to have a cup of coffee. He searched high and low for a decent coffee house for us to have our daily coffee, which was brilliant. And all the time he explained everything to us and made us feel comfortable about driving and being in Sri Lanka. We have nothing but praise for Danny. He was fantastic.
He was indeed terrific. The only other thing I would like to say is that the actual effects of the protests and the like are going on here at no time have created any safety issues as far as our visit. We've felt completely secure at all times, and I say very much through Danny's kind offices. But there are no safety issues. The only things that really come out of what's going on in Sri Lanka at the moment is the queues outside the petrol stations, which means that traffic gets much more clogged up than normal, if that's possible. And at the end of the day, you just have to live with it. But there are no danger issues, no safety issues whatsoever.
We drove through several villages and towns and cities where protests were going on. In fact, in Colombo, the last 2 days, there's quite a big protest. We're staying in the Golface Hotel, which is probably half a mile away from where the main protests are happening. And it's very peaceful protest. We actually drove right past them yesterday on an open Jeep city tour, and we literally drove right past them and they were waving and they were just very peaceful in their protests. We didn't feel any threat whatsoever, so please don't let that put you off travelling to Sri Lanka. It is the most beautiful country and we've seen a really good chunk of it. We've travelled first down to Galle, and then we went across to Yala, to the nature reserve, where we saw some wonderful wildlife. And then we drove up into the mountains via another nature reserve to a baby elephant sanctuary, which was fabulous. And then up into Kandy, which was the most beautiful city with fascinating history. And then on from Kandy back to Colombo. We've had a great tour, many other things we could have done. We chose to do it quite quickly and not sit on a beach, but there are beautiful beaches down on the south. If you go down to Nikadua, there's beautiful beaches down on the south which are ideal for children, and there are really no signs of protests down in the south that are bad. Nothing is bad. So do encourage you to come and enjoy yourself. Don't feel threatened because it's really quite safe.
Yep. It's a great place to come.
Enjoy.
Enjoy it. Thank you, guys.